spectacular images from the historic circuit of Monza here this morning, the second round of the 2023 Euro 4 Championship. We welcome you to this famous circuit, which 2 weeks ago hosted the 2023 Italian Grand Prix. This is race 2, round 2 of the weekend. Great to have your company here this morning. Rain overnight has left the track quite damp here this morning. It is a dry circuit, but you can see the shadows hanging over the track from various, grandstands and trees which still hang over the track here, has made the circuit a little bit slippery in parts. We'll get to that in a moment. We'll go down to Laura Kaula, who's speaking to Akshay Bora, who's on the grid.
So, good speed yesterday, but it was a messy race. Your US racing teammate did win, so obviously you have the car to win?
Yeah, I mean, this weekend the car's been really strong, which I have to thank the team for. They put in hard work to make us competitive for the win. So there's definitely that opportunity for this race.
And it's really a fight between Urias Racing and Prema. Can you work together with Casper and Zach at all, or it's every man for himself?
If I can work with my teammate, that can be advantageous to both of us, then I might. But at the end of the day, we're also racing for ourselves. So it depends on the situation.
Good luck.
Akshay Bora on the second row of the grid, the American driver for the German-US racing team. We'll take a look at the grid for you in just a moment. That's his teammate to the right of the screen, Kasper Stuka, who took victory in race 1 of 3 yesterday. He starts on pole position, as he will this afternoon for race 3. We'll try and get a word, if we can, from Freddie Slater, although Laura may have just had to leave the grid as we count down to race 2. You can see the shadows and the slight damp patches on the circuit here at this historic circuit. 100 years of motor racing, one of the most famous and one of the fastest circuits in the world. In qualifying, we were topping speeds of 248 kilometres an hour, which is quick, but Imola, where the Italian series raced earlier on in the year, was actually quicker. We topped over 250 k's an hour on that occasion. This is the grid, and we can say the pole will start on pole. Kasper Stuka out of grid 1 for the US racing team. Arvid Lindblad, the Englishman, out of grid 2. Fast Freddie Slater. What a debut on the continent. Pole position yesterday, starts grid 3 here this morning alongside Akshay Bora. Then Zachary David, Brando Badoer, Ricky Lou, and the American Ugo Ugachukwu, the second driver from New York, USA, inside the top 8. James Wharton with a storming drive yesterday from the 6th row of the grid to come home in position 4. He's actually sitting 3rd in the championship on 60 points. We'll get to that also throughout our broadcast. His teammate, Tuka Tapanen, Rashid Aldeheri on the rookie podium yesterday, and the Tuscan, Nicola Lacorte, out of grid 12. He had a DNF yesterday. We'll be looking for a better run in car 47 from the 6th row of the grid. Alfio Spina, Il Siciliano, and one of 4 Australians in the field, the second of which is Griffin Peebles, the third of which is Gianmarco Pradel. Ivan Dominguez for Van Amersfoort Racing. Car 17 out of grid 16 is the Portuguese driver for the Dutch team here in the north of Italy. And then we go to Flavio Olivieri with the Cram Motorsport team. Tina Hausmann had a pretty good run yesterday, with the exception of being pushed into the grass earlier on, but she did recover well. Sarazan, Birambaki, a big crash for the tyre yesterday. Deligny, Larini, Lund, Nobels, Giacomo Pedrini, Diego Della Torre, Rafa Modanese, and Kamal Murad. Kai Darayan, Kai, who was on the podium in the British series earlier on. Apologies to Kai. Darianini for Cream Motorsport. Ishmael Ahmed also had a DNF yesterday, but will be looking to recover. He starts on the 15th row of the grid. Kai Darianini, yes, he was on the podium in the British F4 series. Great to see as we look at Ricky Lou in car 66 for US Racing. Great to see the drivers from the various continental championships around the world here for the first running of the Euro 4 series. 3 rounds for 2023, 4 for next year. This is the second of which we kicked off at Mugello. This is round 2 here at Monza, and the championship does conclude at Barcelona, Catalonia in Spain on the 22nd of October. The championship looks like this after 4 of 9 races. Ugo on 86 points is the American in P1. Kasper Stuka, race 1 winner yesterday and pole sitter this morning. He's second in the series on 62 points. James Wharton, third in the championship on 60 points, ahead of Akshay Bora, who we heard from as he spoke to Laura Cola on the grid just a few moments ago. The second American, the second New Yorker, fourth in the series on 51 points. Arvid Lindblad, 49 points. Ivan Dominguez, still sixth in the championship on 20 points. Desperately trying to get heat into the Pirelli tyres. Kasper Stuka started the series, or started 2023 with victory in the Formula Winter Series down on the Iberian Peninsula. His third and final year in Formula 4 as he looks to 2024 already. There's Freddie Slater. What a debut on the continent for Fast Freddie, the former World Cup racing champion, pole position in race 1 yesterday. There's his American teammate, car 3, Ugo Ugochukwu. Slater, the second row of the grid, for a driver who's got a very big future ahead of him. Starts out of grid 3 in car 51 this morning. Gianmarco Pradel. That's Ivan Dominguez, still sixth in the championship, but needs a strong result here this morning. Kasper Stuka, car 37 on grid 1 here at Monza this morning. Slater in 51 lines up right behind Kasper Stuka. 30 cars on the grid here this morning for the second of 3 races this weekend. This is round 2 of 3 for the 2023 Euro 4 Championship at the home of the Italian Grand Prix, presented by WSK Promotion. Pablo Sarrazin, the second generation racer, lines up on the grid on the 10th row. Ismail Ahmed out of grid 30 after a big crash yesterday. There is the Cram Motorsport team. Josh Evans to the left of your screen. As we welcome you to Monza, there's the green flag at the back of the grid, the 5 red lights. For the second time this weekend in the Euro 4 Championship, we race. Fabulous start from Lindblad, and his countryman goes with him. Now Kasper Stuka gets some momentum as they race down into turn 1 for the first time. The Pole who started from pole position, Kasper Stuka, has got Lindblad breathing down his neck. Arvid tries the outside, but it's Kasper who goes position 1. A relatively clean start on what is still, as you can see, a greasy track, but the field make their way through the first chicane, up into the Roger chicane for the first time. Alfio spinner. Oh, and there's contact big time. The second accident in 2 days for none David Bidambakti. Turned around, just kisses the wall, but he's beached on the ripple strip. They go down into the Rocher chicane. Kasper goes position 1, Lindblad second. As one of the Prema cars, and he's not the only one, cuts the chicane as we saw multiple times yesterday. Rashid Al-Bahedi trying to take advantage. It's James Wharton with the Emirati right behind him. Stuka, Lindblad, Slater, Bora, Badoer with a great start, the Italian in position 5. David Larini going through. The incident in turn 3 involving Bidambakti, local yellow flag just for the moment. We stay green down through into the Ascari chicane. That was Griffin Peebles in the background. Stuka, Lindblad and Slater, the pole with the 2 Englishmen right behind. Trying to break the slipstream. There is Badoer pulling out and taking Bora. Goes wheel to wheel into the Parabolica. And Brando up into position 4, now a step off the podium. As Kasper Stuka is about to lead them across the line for the first time. The Pole who started on pole position. He won race 1 yesterday. He's got the race lead. There is Spinner behind Pradel, the court there. There's Tina Hausman going through. A good start from her as Stuka tries to break the slipstream. Not 1, but 2 Englishmen right behind him. Kasper down into turn 1. Slater just watches as Lindblad now goes through to take the lead, but he's on the outside. Oh, fantastic racing. Arvid goes position 1. The English drivers first and third. Contact as Tina Hausman with a big don't argue right into the back of car 30. Frederick Lund for Van Amersfoort Racing. Gianmarco Pradell on the charge as well. That's Nicola Lacorte, just ahead of one of 4 Australians in the field. Casper on the outside of the English driver, wheel to wheel through the Rocha chicane. Credit to Casper, he does almost take the racetrack without shortcutting it, but it's Lindblad who's got the lead. Slater, who started on pole position yesterday, in 3rd place. Casper back to 2nd. Ugo Ugachuku, remember he's the championship leader. Car 3 is in position 8. Out of the Lesmo chicane, and the Red Bull Junior from the Kings England goes position 1. Rashid Al-Bahedi ahead of Ricky Lu. Good start from the Chinese driver in car 66 for US Racing. He's just a position outside the top 10. This is Lindblad in P1, down through the Ascari chicane. He's already put 2 car lengths over Casper Stuka. You can see there are parts of the circuit which are still damp here this morning. Spinner going through ahead of Dominguez, Peebles, Sadazan and Olivieri. Biron Bakhti, meanwhile, has managed to rejoin. No damage to car 57 as Ugo down the inside, and the American takes Zachary David, the championship leader, now up into position 7. Biron Bakhti still circulating, 30 starters, 30 still in the race, but he's 25 seconds behind the Uzbek Ismail Ahmed, who's in P29. So it's Lindblad across the line as we start lap 3. There's Border, Zachary David, Ugachuku, Tuka Tappanen's there as well. Big dive down the inside from Brando Badoer, the Italian on the charge here this morning. This is Bora, Ugachuku, David, Wharton, Al-Bahedi and Ricky Lu in car 66. Having a fine start here this morning, the second of 3 races, the second round of the 2023 Euro 4 Championship, presented by WSK Promotion. No surprise to see that Brandel is the fastest driver on the circuit. The Italian for the Dutch Van Amersfoort Racing Team. This is Ugo. Picks up another one. Brandel has a big look at the back of Slater. Bora, I should say, Tappanen, David. Rashid Al-Bahedi just ahead of Ricky Lu in car 66. Wharton now starting to get frustrated. A great drive yesterday from the Ferrari Junior from grid 12 up into P4. He's still 3rd in the championship. Rashid Al-Bahedi, that was Ricky Lu behind him. Darting out, he's now just a position outside the points. Lindblad as Casper Stuka, slightly wider, slightly tighter line from Casper, wider from Lindblad as they search for grip on a greasy track here this morning. Lindblad P1, the gap is just 0.1 of a second. Breaks the slipstream. Brandel on the inside of Slater, who saw him coming, and the Englishman back into P4. Fantastic pass from Brandel Badoer, and the Italian now up onto the podium. Second year in Formula 4 for Brandel Badoer. Second generation racer, but Freddie's got the slipstream, almost pushing the Van Amersfoort racing car. In fact, he is. Bump drafting here at Monza in single-seaters. Slater on the outside. Brandel holds on to P3. That's Casper, that's Arvid. Badoer from Slater, Bora, Tappanen, David, Ugachuku, Wharton, Al-Bahedi, Lacorte, and Ricky Lu. Gianmarco Pradell ahead of Alfio Spinner, Ivan Dominguez, Pablo Sarazan. The 2 second-generation racers, Pablo Sarazan for Van Amersfoort Racing. His father competing in the Brazilian sole start in Formula 1 in the Brazilian Grand Prix back in 1998. The second generation racers in this one, of course, Brandel Badoer, his Van Amersfoort Racing teammate, his father Luca, taking victory in Formula 3 at this very circuit way back in 1992. Casper Stuka in P1 has retaken the lead from Lindblad, as you can see. Brandel Badoer, the fastest driver on the circuit. Down into the Ascari chicane, now heat into the Pirelli tyres. There's Alfio Spinner for the BBM Racing Team. Enzo Deligny in the fluorescent yellow machine, fighting with Flavio Olivieri, Frederick Lund, Griffin Peebles, Tina Hausman, Davide Larini, another second generation driver, Aurelia Nobels, Diego Della Torre. The take a look at what happened just a few moments ago. Bidam Bhakti, who had a wild start yesterday into the wall. And you can see the PHM driver, Giacomo Petrini, in fact, it's his teammate, without the front wing, but does continue on. Kasper Stuker across the line. He's now done a 1:53.158. He's the fastest driver on circuit. He's retaken the lead. Ugo Ugachukwu, remember, the championship leader. He's back in position. This is Arvid. Car 23 for the Londoner, the Red Bull Junior, in position 2. Bora, Tappanen, Zachary David, the US racing drivers on the charge. They go position 1 with the pole. Kasper Stuker in car 37. The US racing drivers in first. 5th with Bora and 7th with Zachary David. Huge contact down into the first chicane. We've got one car upside down. Oh boy, wow, a monstrous crash. We'll try and bring you up to date with what has happened. This is Giacomo Petrini down in pit lane. Rejoins the safety car inevitably, immediately sent out onto the circuit. A monstrous crash down into the first chicane, which happened off screen. One of the Prema drivers involved. It looked as though it may have well been Alfio Spinner. Take a look at this. There's Gianmarco Pradel. Alfio Spinner with the right rear broken. Enzo Deligny smash, airborne from the French-American. Takes out one of the cram cars. And upside down, that's Davide Larini. On the outside, it looks as though it's Aurelio Nobel's upside down. Dominguez goes through. Alfio Spinner with a broken car 9. Tries to pull off Enzo Deligny. A huge crash for the Brazilian-Belgian Aurelio Nobels. She's upside down into the first chicane. The safety car out onto the circuit. There's Alfio. That looks like Davide Larini also out. The 2 Italians. The 3 Italians, because that's Flavio Olivieri. Waiting for word regarding that incident with Aurelio Nobels. A monstrous crash. It was fortunately at low speed down into the first chicane. We'll try and get another replay if we can. Aurelio Nobels upside down. Yes, the halo working superbly here. The new generation Tata's T421 chassis. The safety car leads them straight through the chicane. That's Kasper Lindblad Badoer. 1, 2, 3. But our concern is for the American-born Brazilian-Belgian. There's Flavio Olivieri's wrecked Creme Motorsport car. Also in the background, one of the VAR cars has broken a front wing. Aurelio Nobels upside down into the first chicane. Just getting word from race control, Aurelia is okay. Wow, a frightening crash. Thankfully, it was at low speed. We are getting word from race control. Aurelia is out of the car. She is okay. The safety team, world class here at Monza, putting the car back the right way up. But Aurelia Nobels, this is our concern. She is out and she is okay. The Ferrari Junior. As we see Frederick Lund going through, he avoided the carnage. Safety car conditions just after 1/3 race distance. A huge crash, thankfully at low speed. Giacomo Petrini was out just a few moments earlier. He pitted for a new front wing, and that may have well saved the Italian from being caught up in that. Alfio Spinner with a broken right rear. Enzo Deligny with nowhere to go. Enzo, the French-Chinese-American driver competing in the Spanish series in car 22, running into the back of Spinner. Olivieri with huge damage to the 96 Creme Motorsport car. David Larini, the Tuscan, also with nowhere to go. And Aurelio Nobels, the Ferrari Junior, with some starts in the Brazilian F4 Championship in 2022. The Shellback Ferrari Junior, one of two girls racing here. Aurelia Nobel's upside down, thankfully at low speed, into the chicane. She is okay. The order behind the safety car: Kasper Stuka, Arvid Lindblad, Brandel Badoer, Slater, Bora. That's actually going through just ahead of Tuka Tapanen. Zachary David, the championship leader. Ugo Ugachuko, big damage to Ricky Lou's left side pod. Back to position 14 after being on the edge of the top 10. Under safety car conditions here, the second race, the second round of the 2023 Euro 4 Championship here at Monza. There is Kasper trying to keep heat into the Pirelli tyres. 25 of the original 30 starters still in the race. We have lost Alfio Spinner, we've lost Enzo Deligny, Olivieri, Lorini, and Aurelia Nobels. Still trying to clear the circuit. The safety car will lead them down through the chicane once again. The top right of your screen, you can see the marshals doing a superb job here at Monza. They have cleared the temporary chicane for the safety car to lead. Kasper, Arvid, Brando down into turn 1. Ricky Lou has just pulled into pit lane. Just being told from race control, Aurelia Nobels out of the car. She is okay. She may have an injury to her hand. She's under the control of the medical team, just checking over, but she's up and about, and she is, relatively speaking, okay. Look at the huge damage to Flavio Olivieri's 96 Crown Motorsport car. Gabriele Rosé, the team at Crown Motorsport, with a big job this afternoon to get Flavio back on the grid for race 3. Straight through the chicane. Tina Hausmann, of course, who's in this race. She's in 16th position after qualifying grid 9 yesterday. She had a frightening rollover in the Italian series. The Swiss driver at Misano earlier on in the year, that was at over 200 kilometers an hour. This incident with Aurelia, well, they go down through the chicane at around about 65 k's an hour. And as she was hard on the brakes, upside down, it was at lower speed. The new generation Tata's T421 chassis, which is manufactured almost a stone's throw from the Monza circuit. Mind you, it would be a damn good throw, but just a few miles from the circuit. The safety aspect of this new generation F4 car, it has held up superbly well. Aurelia Nobels is okay. Gianfranco De Bellis, Giovanni Delfino, and a very professional, hard-working team at Tata's, together with Auto Technica, official partners of the Euro 4 Championship, together with Pirelli. Aurelia Nobels is okay. She's been checked over by the medical team. She may have had a slight, or sustained a slight injury to one of her hands, but she is okay. Still under safety car conditions here, the second race, the second round of the Euro 4 Championship. It was a good, clean start, 30 drivers circulating without a problem, with the exception of Biram Bakhti, who went around for the second time. The tie's still out there in 23rd position. But then just 2 laps ago, a monstrous crash, thankfully at low speed, down into the first chicane, eliminating Alfio Spinner, Enzo Deligny, Flavio Olivieri, David Lorini, and the Ferrari Junior, Aurelia Nobels. Still safety car conditions as we clear the circuit. This is the second of 3 races, the second round of the Euro 4 Championship, race 3 to take place at 5:30 this afternoon local time. Kasper Stuka, who is the race leader, will also start on pole position for race 3 this afternoon. Our concern for the drivers involved, thankfully, Alfio, Enzo, Flavio, David and Aurelia are all okay. In 2023 motor racing, thankfully, is not as it once was. Another look at what's happened. There's Gianmarco Pradel going through. Alfio Spinner with a broken right rear. Enzo Delindi with nowhere to go. Olivieri smack into the back of the Italian. And Aurelio Nobels at almost walking pace, upside down into the back of Alfio Spinner. This gives us a better look. There's Ricky Lou going on through. Enzo Delindi into the back of Olivieri. Aurelia Nobel's just hanging upside down. She is okay though. We refrained from bringing you that slow motion replay until we had word from race control that the Brazilian driver is okay. Another lap under safety car conditions. 30 minutes plus 1 lap. This is the 8th lap. Again, being told they'll go down through the chicane, hopefully just another lap away from a restart. Our race director, Mr. Alessandro Ferrari, and the team here at Monza. Working as quickly as possible to have a green finish to this race. There's Freddie Slater, pole position in his first European F4 race on the continent yesterday. Wrapped up the Ginetta Junior Series in his home country 7 days ago. Slater back into P4. Still down through the chicane. There's Rashid Al-Bahedi, the Emirati, on the rookie podium yesterday. Gianmarco Pradel, who just avoided that accident yesterday. Lund, Hausmann. That's Griffin Peebles going on through, ahead of Darian. I will get it right by the end of the weekend. Kai, who had a British podium in the British F4 Series. The Indian driver in car 97 came from the back of the grid. Grid 29 for Creme Motorsport. Kai Darianini. Let's just call him KD in car 97. I'll get it right by the end of the series, which takes place at Barcelona on the 22nd of October. The safety car will pull into pit lane at the end of this lap, and we will race the final third, hopefully under green conditions, under what is thankfully sunny skies here this morning after a torrential downpour last night. They come out of the Lesmo curves. Tremendous storms during the summer period. You can see to the left, there's still a few trees standing, but that used to be a thick, dense forest. It has been thinned dramatically. And the shadows from the trees are much less than they were before the start of the summer break. Torrential storms, which also washed out the Imola Formula One Grand Prix, the San Emilia-Romagna Formula One Grand Prix. Earlier on in the year, also affecting Monza. The track is dry. Kasper Stuka in position 1 from Lindblad. Brando Badouer, position 3. So it's US Racing, Prema, and Van Amersfoort Racing. 1, 2, 3. Ugo Ugachuko. Car 3 in position 8. He is the championship leader. Kasper Stuka had to do this twice yesterday. We'll back the field up down into the Michele Alboreto Parabolica and accelerate at the last possible moment. The lights off on the safety car. They cannot pass until they pass the start-finish line. You can see Kasper Stuka back to almost walking pace. He'll slow it up even further. Lindblad right behind the pole. The Red Bull Junior in car 23 for the Prema Racing team. Arvid 5th in the championship on 49 points. Kasper 2nd on 62. The championship leader, Ugo Ugachuko, in position 8. The green flag now flies as Kasper Stuka leads them into the Parabolica. The track is now green, but they cannot pass until they cross the start-finish line. Kasper Stuka at barely walking pace. Arvid Lindblad waiting for the pole to jump. He's not more than 1 metre behind the US Racing car 37. You can see the green lights are on. Kasper Stuka leads the field up to the line. Under green conditions, the track is clear. Now the green flag flies and Kasper goes. Lindblad, not a bad start, but Brundle, who's in fantastic form this morning. Look at the Italian right behind the first English driver. Kasper Stuka covers, goes to his right, to your left. Brundle down the inside. Can the Italian take Lindblad? Lindblad locks up. He takes the lead. What a pass by Arvid. But Kasper holds his nerve. He's on the outside, which becomes the inside. Fantastic racing in the Euro 4 Championship. Lindblad has held on. Kasper's back to third. Slow out of the first chicane. And Brundle, by the way, can he take victory here this morning? Yes, the safety car has pulled into pit lane. Slow to get the message as they go down into the Roger chicane. And it's caused confusion. Slow messaging out on the circuit. The track is green. The field saw the safety car board. They think the safety car is out. It is not. It is green. This has caused chaos. We were praising the team here at Monza. They were late to get the message. The safety car board was incorrectly shown. Arvid Lindblad, who did briefly have the lead, he's back into position 5. And now the safety car has been put out onto the circuit to correct that error. Freddie Slater has got the race lead from James Wharton, who jumped up into second place. Confusion here in race 2 here at Monza. Freddie Slater has got the race lead from Wharton, then Ugochukwu, but our board is showing that Kasper Stuka is the race leader. The track is green. There is no incident as far as race control are telling us. Freddie Slater, position 1 on your screen, but race control are telling us that Kasper Stuka, who's dropped back into 8th position, is officially the race leader. There's 5 minutes plus 1 lap remaining as the sun comes out to shine here this morning. The track is drying. The second race of the weekend. The safety car was put out onto the circuit. You can see it's waiting down into the first chicane. Confusion here at Monza this morning. Word from race control that incorrectly displayed safety car board down before the Roger chicane has caused the confusion here this morning. We are getting word from race control. Usually the team here at Monza absolutely first class, but that was, it's harsh for us to be critical, but that was an error which has caused confusion. Thankfully, it has not cost anybody damage. We will try and reset the field here. The safety car will pull in at the end of this lap. And Slater is the race leader. Going down into the Rocher chicane. Now it's green, and watch to the right of your screen. The safety car board is being displayed. So let's give credit to the drivers. They obeyed race direction. The safety car board was pulled in, but it was too late. The damage was done. Arvid Lindblad back into position 5. Kasper Stuka back into position 7. Freddie Slater, you can't blame him. He raced on. Did not see it. We can only assume because the race was called green. The rest of the field slowed up. They did incredibly well to avoid damage. It has caused chaos here this morning. The dying stages of the second race, the second round of the Euro 4 Championship here at Monza. Slater P1, Wharton second, Ugachuku, Zach David P4, Arvid Lindblad, who was briefly leading, is in 5th place. Then it's Brando, who was fighting for the lead. Stuka, Bora, Tappanen and Rashid Al-Dahedi. Slater has got the race lead. Wow, controversy here this morning. We've got just over 2 minutes plus 1 lap to race. There's Rashid Al-Dahedi to the left of your screen, or the centre left. On the rookie podium yesterday, the Emirati in P10 right behind Tappan and Border, ahead of Pablo Sarazan, Nicola Lacorte, Pradel, Dominguez. But it's Fast Freddy in position 1. The safety car pulls into pit lane. The track is now green. The green flag is flying. Despite that yellow flag, which, oh boy, you can see is still waving, we have got the green flag on the start-finish line. Freddie Slater now accelerates, and he's got a good jump ahead of his Australian and American teammates. James Wharton, there is Ugachuku going wheel to wheel, cannot pass until they cross the start-finish line. It is Slater first, Wharton, Ugachuku, Zach David, who tries to take not 1, not 2, but the 3 Prema Power Team drivers. There's Arvid Lindblad, who will be furious behind the wheel of car 23. Freddie Slater takes position 1. 3 cars straight through the chicane. Freddie Slater has got the race lead. Zachary David going straight ahead. That's a good restart from Rashid Al-Dahedi. In the dying stages, we believe this is the penultimate lap of the second race of the weekend. Freddie Slater is gone down into the Rocha chicane. And the rookie in the Euro 4 Championship, who started Grid 1 yesterday, is in P1. That's James up into second place. The championship leader, Ugachuku, who was 8th at the start of the race. He's now in position 3. That's valuable points to the championship. We go to Bora. Lindblad's there. Casper Stuka, the early race lead. There's carnage on the exit of the Lesmo 2, including one of the Prema drivers. Bora down the inside. That's Lindblad just ahead. Zach David in car 20 for the US racing team. Lindblad tries to take 1 position at least. Slater with a lead of just over half a second. Sarazan straight through the Ascari chicane, but it looks as though he's got away with it. Slater, look at the lead back from James Wharton. There's Casper Stuka on his US racing teammate, if you don't mind. Casper Stuka, the early race leader. He's now struggling to stay inside the top 10. Rashid tries to take him as well. The Emirati will get the slipstream from the pole sitter from yesterday's race winner, as Freddie Slater starts his last lap of the race in position 1. Down into the first chicane, just needs to brake cleanly. James behind, Ugo in 3rd. Locks up slightly, does the Australian, holds onto it. Ugo will get the run. Rashid has taken Casper. Look at them fight. Further back in the pack, De La Torre, the Mexican. Darianani just ahead. Then it's Pradel Montanese on debut. Here's the Peruvian. Bidambakti, what a great recovery. He was sideways on the grass on the first lap. James locks up again. Almost runs into the back of Ugo. He does. The 2 Prema teammates, the Ferrari Junior versus the McLaren Junior. Fast Freddy is gone. Slater will win the second race of the weekend. He's got a lead of 1.7 seconds as Tuukka Tappanen dives down into pit lane. The Finn, the former world champion, is out. Ugo up into second place. Al-Dahedi now into position 8. That's Ivan Dominguez, who's still 6th in the championship. Slater under the historic banking for the final time. Down into the Ascari chicane. Lindblad in P5. Casper is in position 9. The pole will be furious, and he has good reason to be so. Slater into the Parabolica for the final time. What a story. The former World Kart Racing champion for Ricky Flynn Motorsport. Took victory in the WSK Supermasters KZ2 race at Sarno earlier on in the year, as Lindblad and Brundle Butterwear go wheel to wheel on the final corner, but fast Freddie Slater from the Kings England, the rookie in the Euro 4 Championship, takes victory here this morning at Monza. Ugol cements his lead in the championship in position 2, and James Wharton home in 3rd place. David Baduel, Lindblad 6, Porter 7, Rashid Al-Bahedi, the pole sitter, yesterday's race 1 winner. He was the early race leader, Kasper Stuka, position 9. Gianmarco Pradel, P10 for the Australian in car 12, takes Ivan Dominguez. Good drive from Ivan to come home in 11th place. Freddie Slater takes victory here this morning at Monza in the Euro 4 Championship. The oldest of the 5 Slater siblings. His parents, Adrian and Olivia, just getting to the track yesterday, and they will be absolutely delighted. This is what happened on the last lap of the race. Griffin Peebles going straight ahead down through the chicane. The Cram Motorsport team. Darianani going on through does Kai. This is Tuukka Tappinen in the background. This is what eliminated the Finn. Debris on the circuit. We'll cap the order for you in just a moment. James Wharton ever so slightly contacting the back of his American teammates straight through the Roger chicane, which just about every driver did here this weekend. And straight through Nicola Lacorte, minus the front wing. But the Tuscan comes home in car 47 in position 17. Slater takes victory for the Prema Racing team on debut in the Euro 4 Championship. England, the United States of America, and Australia. It is a Prema 1, 2, 3 here this morning. But let's be honest, it was a controversial finish. Zach David, P4 from Brundle Butterwear, Lindblad, Border, Al-Dahedi, Stuka, and Gianmarco Pradel in P10. Good try from Ivan Dominguez, the Mexican Diego De La Torre for AKM Motorsport ahead of the rookie from Peru, Rafa Montanese. Bidambakti, great recovery from the tie, who comes on through. He was sideways beached on the first lap. P14 ahead of Kai, Tina, Nicola, Pablo Sarrazan, but this is your race winner. Fast Freddie Slater from the Kings England takes victory in race 2 here this morning.
Well done. Good job. Bravo.
His Australian Italian mechanic, Luigi Loccerto, celebrating there. Pole position yesterday.
Check the weight.
And he takes victory here on debut on the continent. 1 start in the British F4 Series. Pole position in race 1 yesterday, and victory here at Monza this morning. Kasper Stuka, position 9, with the fastest lap of the race. But this is the race winner, Freddie Slater.
So a very complicated and nervous race.
Yeah, you know, it was a bit complicated with the safety car for how long it was. I hope everyone's all right in that one. But then we went green, and then the safety car came out into T3, and I thought, okay, safety car again. Then it went off, and everyone was slowing down, and I just waited till they exit T4 and just went, because you follow the marshal post and that's it, and that's what I did, and managed to get the lead, and then have another safety car, and then saw the green flag, heard the green flag, and then I was like, okay, it's ready, time to go now, and put 2 good laps in, let them battle behind, and that was it. So yeah, so happy.
You did it.
Yeah, I did it. So come across P1 at Monza, first Italian race. I think it's pretty good. So yeah.
Take it.
Thank you very much.
The highlights of a controversial race 2 here at Monza. Kasper Stuka from pole position. A good launch from Arvid Lindblad, who went wheel to wheel with the US racing team driver down into turn 1. Kasper into the first chicane in first place. Lindblad swarming all over the back of Stuka, trying to keep his championship hopes alive. For the most part, it was a relatively clean start. 30 drivers going down through the chicane relatively cleanly for the first time, with the exception of none other than Birenbakti, who was sideways and beached on the ripple strip with his accident. A fantastic recovery from Birenbakti, who would cross the line half an hour later in a commendable 14th place. Stuka Lindblad, as the field go down through the Roger chicane for the first time. Casper, it looked as though he would go 2 from 2 for the German-US racing team. Brando Badoer on the charge, the Italian, for the Van Amersfoort racing team, from 5th to 4th, up into 3rd and briefly into 2nd place. But out front, Lindblad, who would take the lead away from Casper Stuka with a fantastic pass down into the first chicane. Casper gave him racing room. Fredrik Lund going wide. This was the move from Brando Badoer to take 3rd place away from the ultimate race winner, Freddie Slater. Lindblad had the lead from Casper Stuka. Brando, the fastest driver on the circuit, going by Freddie Slater as they race down into turn 1 at just under 250 k's an hour. But then this happened. Alfio Spina with damage to the right rear tried to come off the circuit. Enzo Deligny with nowhere to go into the back of Flavio Olivieri and Aurelia Nobels upside down in a frightening crash for the Brazilian junior. That brought out the safety car. Thankfully, the drivers were okay. The green flag flew once again. Controversy when the safety car board was not removed in time. Wharton into the back of Uga Chukul. They would both finish on the podium just, but their teammate Freddie Slater would race away to take victory on debut on the continent. And this, the Euro 4 Championship at the home of the Italian Grand Prix. Slater in position 1 wins the 2nd race of the weekend. So this is the championship. You can see Ugo has still got the championship lead by 20 points over James Wharton. Casper Stuka, position 9, fastest lap of the race. Not really any consolation at all. He's in 3rd in the championship on 64 points. James, Ugo and Freddie, the podium for race 2 here at Monza. Mr. Giancarlo Minardi presents the 3rd place trophy to James, 2nd to Ugo, and on debut in the Euro 4 Championship from the Midlands of the King's England, it's Freddie Slater. Valentina accepting the team's trophy on behalf of the Prema Power team, Prema Racing Team. Scusami, Renee. A controversial finish here to race 2 this morning. Casper Stuka, fastest lap of the race. He was the race leader, crosses the line in position 9. He's still 3rd in the championship, and the pole will have a chance for redemption in the final race of the weekend this afternoon when he starts from pole position. Ugo, still the championship leader on 98 points from James on 78. Casper Stuka, 3rd in the championship after leading into the dying stages, but starts from pole position for race 3 of the Euro 4 Championship at 5:30 this afternoon. We hope you've enjoyed the coverage. We'll see you for the final race of the weekend at the home of the Italian Grand Prix here at Monza at 5:30 local time here at Monza. We'll see you then.